All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Let's begin. Sorry for being 10 minutes late on this. It is 6:40, and we have the City Council Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency, successor agency, Calexico Financing Authority, regular meeting, June 4th, 2014. And I will defer to our attorney, city attorney, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. The council met in closed session, discussed action item A. There is no reportable action. Items B and C have been deferred until the conclusion of the city council meeting. The council then will reconvene in public to address new business item number 6. So to repeat the priority, B and C has been continued to the end of the public meeting with the exception of business item 6, which will be addressed after the closed session. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. All right, call to order in attendance. Looking to my right and my left, we have everybody here, and thank you for your presence. So will we please stand, and Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, will you please lead us?
Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight? Motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Thank you. All
I
right.
have a clarification for the.
I'm sorry, Kim. What?
We're gonna have the number 6 after the closed session.
That's what
Yeah.
the attorney said, sir. Yes. Okay. All right. Motioned by Mayor Pro Tem and second by Councilman Castro. Please vote on the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I am opposing and going to vote against this agenda item due to item number 6 being brought to this agenda illegally.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Hurtado. All right, then. We got some presentations. First, this is very nice. Would you mind holding, sir? Thank you. We have a proclamation of Father's Week. Hey, us dads finally get some attention, besides just getting the large chicken bone. 2014, the June 15th, 2014. So let me read what it says here. Responsible Fatherhood Week. Whereas Father's Day is celebrated in the United States on June 15th, 2014, and this day marks a celebration honoring fathers and celebrating fatherhood, parental bonds, and the influence of fathers in society. And whereas Father's Day is a special time to honor the men who raised us and to thank them for their selfless dedication and love. And whereas from the first moments of life, the bond between a father and a child is important. And whether patching a skinned elbow or a flat bike tire, dads bring joy, instill values, and introduce wonders in the lives of their children. And whereas fathers are our first teachers and coaches and mentors and role models and push us to succeed, encourage us when we are struggling, and offer unconditional care and support. And whereas fatherhood carries enormous responsibilities, and an active, committed father makes a lasting difference in the life of a child, and when fathers are not present, both children and families feel the strain of their absence. And whereas the Imperial Valley Regional Occupational Program Project, Padres, promotes the pathway to responsible fatherhood through activities that support responsible parenting, healthy relationships, and economic stability. Therefore, be it resolved that June 8th through June 15th, 2014 be declared Responsible Fatherhood Week in the Imperial County. Be it further resolved that all of those in the Imperial County join the celebration by extending their knowledge, support, and participation in activities that promote responsible fatherhood and acknowledge fathers for their contributions to children, families, and societies. In witness whereof, I hereunto affix my signature and official seal of the City of Calexico on the 4th day of June, 2014, as mayor. Let me just make one comment. Congratulations, fathers, but single mothers, congratulations to you, because not only are you a mother, you are a father. And for me also to be single and with my children, I kind of take note of motherhood. So I congratulate all of us that play the role of fatherhood. And so let's give it up. I think we should give each other a hand. All of you, get on the cell phone and call your dad. Hi, Dad. Okay. This gentleman here is a very good father. I've watched him raise Sonny.
Thank you.
You're a very, very good father.
Thank you.
Now, what do we do with the plaque? Or who's going to accept this? Anyone? A photo shot? Op? What?
You accept it down there with,
Yeah.
with Mario Conde.
Let's go down here. Okay? All right, so I am to give this to this young lady.
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right. Fatherhood. Oh, you're quite well. Thank you very much. And there you go. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Good job.
Those are nice words. Now we have, all right, this is interesting. It's new, and I think we should really pay attention to this. A presentation by Eli Cortez regarding housing nationwide cost recovery services. So, Mr. Cortez, the floor is yours, and welcome.
Gabby.
Speak to Gabby. Thank you, Gabby. I forgot to tell you ahead of time. Sorry. We'll be right back due to technical difficulties. And nobody has a sense of humor around here. You do.
We're supposed to be real serious.
This is what you Okay, if you're ready, you may begin.
Oh, thank you. Honorable Mayor, Council, citizens of Calexico, thank you for having us here to present for you. We're Nationwide Cost Recovery Services, and we have a program that we started 3 years ago in the city of El Monte, and it's been extremely successful in helping cities manage the foreclosure problems in their city. And we specifically hold banks accountable to maintain and manage and prevent blight, and also through our relationships with local nonprofits and state programs, we work through what we call a foreclosure symposium, and we educate your community and specifically for the city of Calexico, we will host this symposium to make sure that the banks are working with your residents to save their homes. And today, there's still, for the next 2 years, the money's going to go back to the feds, but right now there's $1.5 billion to save homes still in California. And still today, many residents are losing their homes, particularly also here in this valley. So I'll go through my first slide here. California got hit the hardest of all the states. And you can see down at the bottom, the dark areas are the counties, your county, Riverside, San Bernardino. That's where the epicenter of the foreclosure programs occurred. And this was caused by the banking industry. It wasn't caused by the residents, it was caused by the banking industry. And therefore, our program focuses on holding the banking industry accountable to help you, the city, and your residents in your city transition through this continued problem of foreclosures. Your city has a big impact, and not only has there been quite a few foreclosures still occurring in your city, but there's quite a few residents that are living month to month and have what's called loans that are underwater. In other words, they paid more than the house is currently valued at. And so a lot of people in those situations early on just left their homes because they thought there was no help for them. And so through our program, we work through your housing departments, we work through local nonprofits, and we try to save as many residents as we can through the state funds that exist there. And the challenge is the state doesn't know how to connect to your community. And we've established this program now in 7 cities, and it's been extremely successful, not only in helping the residents, but also creating cost recovery back to your city. The program started in 2008 when the big hit, big wave for foreclosures hit, and it used to take about 3 months to foreclose on residents. The average has passed 12 months. In some cases, we're tracking properties as long as being in foreclosure for 4 to 6 years. What happens during all that time? No one's really keeping an eye on the banks and holding the banks accountable to protect properties. And in some cities, gang members have taken over it. Graffiti continuously occurs. Some homes, the large homes, they use them for grow houses. And so there's a lot of negative occurrences in different cities when people don't track this. And it's very hard for code enforcement to know because sometimes you can't tell which house is foreclosed or which isn't. And so using technology and using city ordinance and using a process that works, we hold the banks accountable to a systemic process of accountability. Next. We add value very simply. We help you prevent the blight. We work with you through your housing department and code enforcement to manage whatever residents' impacts they're going to need. Because if they lose their home, they're still going to end up coming to the city for rental assistance. They're going to come to you for, in some cases, homelessness. And in many cases, these people are deferred on to the county. And really, it's a very tough challenge for the residents that are being impacted by this whole program, by the whole impact of foreclosures. We also assure that our program doesn't cost your general fund a dime. We get paid only because we work through a city ordinance that requires the banks to pay fees that the city then has to manage for the foreclosure programs, for graffiti prevention, for other programs, housing programs you might want to allocate. The beauty of this is the people who caused the problem are the ones that are going to be held accountable to manage the problem. And so we're like hall monitors, if you will, over the banks. And not once in our program have we had to go to court. We never had to lien a property. It's just a matter of using a good system and technology to track these banks and hold them accountable to register with your city, follow the ordinance, and make sure that they're not only managing the blight prevention, but when we have this housing symposium, that they come and work with your residents to try to save their home. Again, we do a combination of things. We make it look easy, but it's very complex. We do registration, so we force the banks through a city ordinance to register and let you know from the point of notice of default what they're going to do with that property, they need to let you, the city, know so that you can plan ahead for what's coming. So in many cases, registration programs exist, but no one holds the banks accountable. We have field people that will go do the property inspections, curb inspections, and as they get blighted, we immediately escalate not only to the bank, because we have those direct contacts, but we escalate it to police and or to your code department. So we're actually an extra set of eyes and ears for you in your own community. These are revenues that we call it cost recovery that we've generated for cities. And the numbers are very large because, as I said before, there's a lot of foreclosures still going on. So you'll read in many papers that the foreclosure problem has come and gone. That's not true. There's a whole new industry out there that was created because of these foreclosures, and they came about because of a programs where investors using hedge funds bought tens of thousands of these homes, and they bought them just carte blanche. They just bought them across the board, and now what they're doing is they're going through and weeding out good loans and bad loans. And bad loans obviously turn out to be either a foreclosure and or they'll do what's called a short sale. But the outcome is the same. Your resident ends up without a home. Your city has quite a few foreclosures that we've tracked. Obviously, even though it's slowed down, there's still quite a bit of impact there, and there's still a need for you. And what we do is we run the program turnkey. So it's very simple. We come on board, we work with your attorney and your city council to enhance and put teeth into the ordinance that you already have. So you already have a vacant real estate owned ordinance, but it doesn't have any teeth in it. So we escalate the ordinance requirements to hold the banks accountable to report from the notice of default, which is way months and sometimes 12 months sooner than you're used to. And so we're actually being prescriptive about managing the problem than reactive. And so we're getting ahead of the curve rather than complaint-based, which is how typically most cities are running it right now. Again, we have zero cost to your city. We get hired on through a contract that says we bring in the revenue of the city, and that's the only way we get paid. So we don't use your general fund money to run this program. We've got expertise in 7 cities. We started in El Monte, and we have expanded to the cities that you saw on the chart earlier. And in all the cities, we've been extremely successful because they have the need. In general, most of these cities, 80% of them are Hispanic families that are losing their homes. And it's a big number, and it's something to try to fix and try to correct, and that's what we do very well. Next. So the economies of scale is really what we bring to the table is we have expertise. We know how to get to the banks, not only through technology, but through relationships and contacts that we have with them. We work with your city attorney, and we establish a city ordinance that they have to follow. That's tough, that forces them to be compliant. And then we work with your housing teams and your local nonprofits to have these symposiums to educate those that still need help today, to get help to see if through this $1.5 billion that are sitting there to be used at the state to be applied to your residents. Next. So again, we're Nation Cost Recovery Services. We're a small private sector firm. We started this program because the city of El Monte had a need, not because we thought this was a cool thing to do. The city of El Monte had a need. They couldn't manage it because their staff were not trained in real estate. Their staff did not have the technology. And basically the expertise that we've developed focuses in the area of trying to catch these problems before it happened rather than wait till after they happen. And again, thank you for your time and allowing us to present to you.
Well, thank you very much. Mr. Cortez, sounds like a very effective and interesting program. So you'll be in contact with Terry Nava? Terry, right? Okay.
I have just a general question on the program that you're
any
describing.
questions?
You're describing a program that is based on increasing the fees that a city can charge to these blighted areas, these blighted properties. Is that correct? Is that what we're looking at? Is going in and
yes.
Okay.
And the ordinance that most cities have, basically, most cities don't even meet their current needs through the fees that you currently have. And in fact, you're sending expensive resources out there to look at these properties, like your police people, police staff, you're sending code enforcement people. Typically, when a code enforcement person will get out to a property, they'll write them up through your current process, but that current process, you kind of have to wait 30 days for even the banks to respond to you. Through our program, we put teeth in the ordinance where we electronically get them, and we'll, within a week or no later, have problems resolved. And again, it has to do with a good ordinance and a good program.
Any more questions? Anybody? Okay, thank you very much for your time and traveling over here to present. Thank you very much, Mr. Cortez. Okay, presentation C, quarterly update by Orlando Johnson on the Calexico Housing Authority. Welcome, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to say this with that program, we'd like to be a part of that because we get contact calls from residents that are losing their homes all the time. We refer them to HUD. So if there's something local, then the Housing Authority would like to be a part of that.
Okay.
So we can be the referral too.
All right,
And
definitely.
we can work with the city. Okay?
Okay,
Well, I have some exciting news from the Housing Authority.
that's good.
Very good news. First on my list is we have our strategic plan completed. We hired a consultant that completed the strategic plan, and the board approved the plan for future goals through 2017 back in March. I sent a copy to Gabby, so it's available in both English and Spanish if you want to review that. I think, you know, a plan is pretty much as it is a plan, and it can be changed and modified. Because when opportunities arise, obviously our strategic plan is going to change. So I know with the next 3 to 5 years, the Housing Authority has some projects that are going to come online that are going to be added to the current strategic plan. And then the next item on my list is the expenditure of the $1.2 million that HUD was requiring us to spend, or actually through the OIG audit. I'm happy to announce that we're closing escrow tomorrow on the purchase of Via Sur Motel, 40 units, Via Sur Motel, 304 4th Street, as a replacement housing project. We will start advertising to take applications for those single unit occupancy, primarily a seniors project.
What is it called?
I don't anticipate it being hard to fill. I believe El Quintero and De Anza has a waiting list of 400 or 500. So I think we will fill that 40 units up very fast. It's going to be an affordable housing project until we apply for HUD subsidy. And we have a couple of options. We can apply for public housing, which would give us assistance subsidy for the residents, and then operating subsidy for the Housing Authority to operate the development. Or we can convert it to multifamily and apply for Section 8. You can't get both, public housing assistance and Section 8. You can get one or the other.
But those are the options for...
Those are the options for the Housing
Vila
Authority.
Sur?
Right, but that will enable the residents to qualify under those two programs to get subsidy. Or if HUD decides they don't want to approve either one of those, we can keep it as affordable housing and they just pay straight rent. But I think that's a long time coming. It's been 11 years that the Housing Authority has had that money. 4 executive directors. I mean, it fell on my shoulders. And like I told Gabby, I think, if it didn't get done, it was going to be because of me, because I was the last one, you see. So the money had to be spent by June 30th, 2014, and we have it spent. I delivered the check today, so we'll close escrow tomorrow, which is good news.
That's good news.
Also, Calexico Garden Apartments, 1640, I think, Rockwood. We've had interest from the local financial institutions to provide us funding for rehabilitation on that development. It's in dire need of rehab, replacement of all 39 air conditioning units, replacement of the roofing. There's going to be some electrical upgrades with the new units. There's going to be some fencing repairs, some internal repairs, cabinets, replacement, and then down the line, there's plans to add an additional 10 units, senior units, or one-bedroom units to that development. So it currently has 39 units, that will add another 10 units, and so it'll be a 49-unit senior project as well. We're currently out on our 45-day comment period, which will end June the 12th, for the smoke-free policy that the city is going to implement.
Okay.
We're going to implement the same policy. The health department has come and done presentations to our residents in the development. I offered 2 hours of community service for all the residents that attended that training, because the residents have to do 8 hours a month of community service. So I was giving them 2 hours of community service to attend that training as an incentive. And once I think the public hearing is on the 12th of June. Once that is completed, our board will adopt the smoke-free policy across the board. And the way we're going to do it is everyone is on a lease. So as the leases expire, each person is required to comply with the new regulation. Because everyone's lease termination is different, and it's not in the lease currently. So as the lease terminate, they'll be required to comply with the smoke-free policy. Number 5 here, the continuum grant application for the homeless grant that the Housing Authority receives annually. Last year, I think for 2013, we received $45,000. 2014, they reduced it to $42,000. And that's funding for transitional housing and to help those homeless families or families that lose their homes in foreclosure, for instance. If they lose their home in foreclosure or they're homeless coming from a shelter, they'll qualify for funding to help them get into an apartment. We'll pay first and last month's rent, and they'll pay 30% of their income towards the rent. We'll pay the rest for as long as we have funding. In the future, the plan is to develop a larger homeless program, and I'm going to apply for probably $250,000 with HUD or with this continuum care. If we can get some assistance from the city, that would help, and from other agencies to go full scale with a homeless program that will provide shelter and some transitional housing support.
What type of assistance would you like from the city?
Well, hopefully some cash aid, or equipment. Equipment will work. I mean, beds, cots would work. I mean, that's about all you really need for a shelter. The facility itself, I'm applying for, the Customs House, Old Customs House.
Okay.
We're going to apply for that. And as a homeless shelter, we get first priority as an agency to get that building. So my application was extended to July the 3rd. We'll submit that application, and that will be, part of that will be a shelter, a homeless shelter for men and women and children. And then the Housing Authority, hopefully, at some point, will be able to transition from where they are on 5th Street and occupy the offices over there in that building. I myself was currently elected to I'm the chairman now of the Homeless Task Force for Imperial County.
Congratulations.
Imperial County Task Force.
Congratulations.
So, that says a lot, because I'm also involved in the task force here in Calexico. And every time we attend the meetings, they're impressed with our city council's involvement, our law enforcement involvement, and everyone's support and involvement, because none of the other cities in Imperial County have the involvement that Calexico has. And that says a lot. I mean, we have the largest number of homeless in the county. But on the north end, there's a hidden gem, I should say, of homeless that we have to bring in to count, is that Nyland area, the slabs. There's estimated probably 500 individuals out there, men, women, and children. That will increase our need in the county, and that will allow us to get more money. But going out and counting those individuals is the problem. We need law enforcement support to go out there. I'm going to do a presentation to the law enforcement. They meet on a monthly basis to try and garner some support. In the League of Cities, we're going to speak with to try and make the cities and the law enforcement realize that in order to get a handle on this homeless issue, everyone has to get involved, as well as city council. So with that, that's how we look right now. Things are looking up. I think in the next 3 to 5 years, the Housing Authority will probably add another 200 to 300 units to its inventory. The Victoria Manor is coming online in 2017. We're going to take that building over right across from the credit union. The investor group used our tax credit, part of the deal to purchase that. It was a 15-year deal. 2017 is the 15 years. We'll pay the interest on the loan, and we'll take that project over. Edie and Grant, we have 3 acres that we're going to develop now that this 5H program is closed out, and we're going to build an additional 30 units over there. So whatever else is available right now, I think the monkey is off our back for 5H, so the sky's the limit. So if the city has something to partner with the Housing Authority, we're available to do that now. We have a real good relationship with HUD, and we can get the funding. Okay.
Mr. Orlando, I want to thank you very much for your leadership and your hard work and your whole staff. Every item that you've said is very positive, and we commend you. Well, thank you so much, and I know Councilwoman Hurtado is on the task force for homeless, so thank you very much, Councilwoman Hurtado. So keep up the great work. And we'll
I'll report.
communicate.
I know we haven't been reporting as we should, but I'll try and make it out on a quarterly basis now that
That
this
would
thing
be
is
good.
behind us, because things should start improving. And like I said, the city may be aware of projects that we can get involved in now that we have this behind us.
All right.
But that whole focus in the last, since I've been here 2 years, has been to get past this 5H. And like I said, it's
And we
done,
did
so
it.
it's over
You
with
did
now.
it.
Yeah. Thank you very
Okay.
much. Thanks for the support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, okay. Give him a hand. Paul. I'm sorry, Council, did you have any questions? I'm sorry, he left. Any questions? No? Okay. Thank you very much. Now we have, I believe, the last presentation, D, presentation by the Police Athletic League regarding the Heffernan Memorial Healthcare District support. Let's hear about that.
Mayor Hatch, honorable members of the council, Ms. Garcia, Deputy City Attorney, Mr. City Manager. Members of the audience, thank you for allowing us to present before you today, as it is an important topic that we bring up to you. And there's 3 areas that we're going to present today on. First of all, I want to thank the Executive Director of PAL and the President, which graciously agreed to lead the reestablishment of PAL after it has been closed for about 7 years. So I want to introduce Ms. Marta Silva and Mr. Martin Aguilar.
Thank you very much.
And thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the challenge and helping us unselfishness, because as you can see, the kids, youth of Calexico are deserving of your effort. The second part is I want to show our appreciation, and this is just the introducing part to the fine, great, awesome ladies from across the street, the Heffernan board. The ladies in, I say blue, but somebody else corrected me and said you're in green. So maybe I'm going blind. I'm sorry, 2 mistakes in one day. So just want to show my appreciation for stepping up after we appealed to your kindness and encouragement, and you did that, exactly that, without any questions. I appreciate that. I will never know how to show you my appreciations on behalf of our kids. We have 3 of those kids here from our local high schools, which are members of about 35 members of our cadet unit, our Explorer program. In addition to that, the kids have participated in our first fitness camp during the Easter vacation for about 2 weeks. With that, I'm going to leave you with the executive officer, our PAL director, Ms. Marta Silva. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. my husband and myself, we took this new endeavor. We just retired ourselves from the Border Patrol after 28 years, myself and him after 26 years. And this is something that is dear to our heart. Our boy was one of those kids that participated in PAL. And we know PAL is very important for everybody. It's a way to prevent our juveniles from delinquency.
The wrong
That's
path.
basically what it boils down to. Give them options, healthy options. Right now, what we want to do, we came to the Heffernan Memorial Healthcare District, and we asked them for their help. They were very gracious, and they donated $25,000
Wow.
to our cause, and that's
That-
one of the reasons we're
That
here.
deserves an applause. Thank you very much.
That's the main reason why we're here right now. We would like for them to stand up and receive.
And they're all in blue.
Teal.
Who's gonna-
Well, okay, John, okay.
We're going to give you a plaque awarded, a plaque of appreciation for your unselfish contribution to support our cause in helping us keep the youth of our community strong of mind, body, and spirit through physical fitness. Memorial, Heffernan Memorial Healthcare District, President Rosie Fernandez. Vice President Gloria Grijalva. Treasurer Silvia Bernal. Trustee Norma Apodaca. Trustee Maria Camacho. We really, really appreciate your help. You don't know how much this means to us. We're just getting started, and we need as much help as possible.
Way to go.
Mayor.
What?
Hold on 1 second. Can you do us a favor and present this, please? This is for them as a whole department.
All right, then I'll give it back to you. So that, ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful plaque, and it's got some beautiful words here. It is, the emblem is Calexico Police Athletic PAL. It's an award of appreciation for your unselfish contribution to support our cause in helping us keep the youth of our community strong of mind, body, and spirit through physical fitness. Presented to you the Heffernan Memorial Healthcare Award. Everybody is under there. It's beautiful. Please give them a hand. ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Thank you.
Mayor, also, June 19th, our explorers are going to be in a competition.
And they do a great job.
Officer Lopez wants to give a few words, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
Come forward.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ruben Lopez. I'm with the Calexico Police Department. I am the Explorer Lead Advisor. Actually, Officer Acuña. He's one of my helpers, helps me out. We've attended 2 competitions, Explorer competitions. in Tulare, California, and in Paso Robles, California. This 19th, we'll be heading out to Tehachapi, California on our third competition in 2 years that I've been with the Explorer Post. Basically what the competition is every Thursday we get together and we teach them things that we would do out on patrol. Lieutenant Gerardo, he's one of my instructors that have helped me out with crime scene investigation. Officer Acuna with traffic related calls that we'll respond to. And there's a lot of other individuals that help us out. So this 19th, we'll be heading out there. It'll be our third competition. And in every competition that we've attended, we've brought back trophies. So, and
Thank you very much, Officer Lopez. And the other officers, you want to say something, sir? Give them a hand.
Yeah,
It's a lot of hard work.
Sorry about that.
Dedication.
Real quick, Officer Sean Acuna, I just want to thank the Heffernan Memorial Society for their donation. It's donations like theirs that keeps our program going. So I want to thank you again.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. All right, that concludes our presentations. Now we're going to move on to public appearances and public comments. Not to exceed 3 minutes. I'll be nice and just ask you to put closure to it. If you hit the 3-minute mark, please respect that. This is the time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. If the item you wish to comment on is a closed session or consent item, please comment now. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we'll take your comment when we get to the item on the agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council, and you have every right, freedom of speech, but please keep it with a level of respect, and if it is slanderous or ugly, I will cut you off. All right. So here we go. No problem here. Toastmasters, Daniel Fitzgerald. Come forward, sir.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, council members, my name is Daniel Fitzgerald. I'm here on behalf of the California Gateway Toastmasters Club, which is a brand spanking new Toastmasters Club here in Calexico. Just to kind of take note of how long it's been since we've had another one here in Imperial Valley, the Winter Garden Toastmasters Club in El Centro was founded in 1959, so it's been over 50 years coming for having a second one. In particular, I'd like to thank Mario Conde, our esteemed journalist here, for putting this together. We meet at the Holiday Inn Express the second and fourth Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. at the Holiday Inn Express here in Calexico. Everyone's welcome to come and check out what it's all about. It's only an hour-long meeting. It's a place for you to be able to come, be able to improve your leadership skills, your speaking skills in a much more comfortable setting and a much more supportive setting. So on behalf of the California Gateway Toastmasters, and also we will soon be having our charter ceremony, and would like to invite the mayor and all the council members to be able to attend to that. Once we have that date confirmed, we will certainly be sending that out, but thank you.
It'd be a pleasure to be there, and I'm very interested in this program. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, next is Maribel Padilla. Please come forward. Public comments.
Maribel Padilla, AC Nogales. I would like to read to you something that came out in the newspaper today, The Voice of the People, by Mr. Tony Tirado from Calexico. It says, in my over 38 years of active involvement in local politics, I have never witnessed such misuse of power and misconduct by 3 of Calexico City's councilmen. It's the ethical duty of the district attorney and grand jury to investigate probable violations of the state's open meetings law, the Brown Act. Albeit there are few, if but one prosecution in California to date. The point here is to put a stop to the blatant abuse of the Brown Act by Mayor Bill Hodge, Council members June Kim and Luis Castro. To not have agendized the so-called search for an interim city manager is flat out wrong and unlawful. Just as troubling was the choice of an interim city manager already embroiled in controversy. Who, when, and where was this initial contact made with Mr. Takara? We have only ourselves to blame for allowing the 3 council members to conduct themselves in an arrogant and self-serving manner. Their total disregard for decorum and false sense of impunity will soon catch up to them if only those with legal authority step up to the plate and do their jobs. The issue of the Brown Act only scratches the surface of what are even deeper issues that entangle other departments and individuals. Just look at what happened in the city of Bell. As a municipality, we'll soon be faced with even more challenges, such as the budget deficit, the loss of exodus of key personnel, the likelihood of losing our city insurance, diminishing public services, and more litigation. All this caused in part, if not all, by our 3 council members. In the near future, you'll have the right to exercise your vote and help turn the tide. For those that chose not to vote because you don't like the choice of candidates, then get busy and find one. Calexico deserves better from its sitting government. And we, the people, agree. You guys are all a disgrace, and I've said it before, and I will say it again. Mr. Tony Tirado has hit the head of the nail here.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Padilla. Now I have next in line general comments concerning a water bill. Miguel Lopez, please come forward, sir.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Miguel López y gracias por dejarme hablar ante ustedes. Señores del concilio, esta es la segunda vez que vengo y siento gran vergüenza porque vine con un problema al cual no se le ha dado solución. El problema es de que me están cobrando agua, drenaje y la basura, que no se usó ninguno de esos servicios. Y al señor Servín, quien fue asignado para ayudarme en este asunto, no pudo hacer gran cosa, nada. De hecho, se dirigió al señor Quinn para hacer un plan de pagos, cuando la persona quien tiene el adeudo no usó nada en absoluto y su capacidad de pago es casi nula. Desearía que me asignaran a otra persona que realmente pudiese sensibilizarse con este problema, porque no es gran cosa para ustedes. No se usó nada, ¿por qué se tiene que pagar algo de lo que no se usó? Esa es la gran pregunta y deseo una gran respuesta. Además, en el peor de los casos, si quieren cobrar algo, pues que sea una penalidad, pero una penalidad moderada, la cual se pueda pagar. El señor de la deuda, el dueño de la deuda, vive de su cheque del Seguro Social. El señor está mentalmente incapacitado, no se mueve. Yo soy quien lo atiendo, soy hijo del señor. No hay ninguna capacidad de pago de su parte, pero hay disposición de que si quieren una multa, pero que sea moderada, se las pago para tener el servicio de nuevo. Sean sensibles con este asunto. Ya que la señora que habló anteriormente mencionó al señor Tirado, recuerdo yo, en mis años jóvenes, el señor Tirado era el cartero, fue miembro del concilio. Ese señor le ponía una atención tan grande, pero tan grande a los niños y a los ancianos, que ahora sí se le pone atención, pero no la que se le ponía en aquel entonces. ¿Que hay déficit? Donde quiera hay déficit. La crisis nos atacó a todos. Pero por favor, a una persona de esta 92 años, no le carguemos más la espalda, por favor. Sean sensibles y ayúdenme para terminar con este asunto. Gracias, señores, por escucharme.
Thank you very much. Councilman Castro.
Oye, disculpa, ¿desde cuándo no tienen agua, señor?
Desde agosto del año pasado.
No tiene agua.
No tiene agua.
Desde...
Cortaron y quieren que se les pague algo que no se usó. No sé, cuando se planeó este asunto de que lo que se use no se use, o sea que no es justa, no es lógica, porque hay personas mayores que realmente no se usan para el baño, el toilet, lavar queda muchísima agua pendiente y aún así se le cobra esa cantidad de grande. Y esos quienes la usan. Ahora quienes no la usan, pongámonos a pensar.
¿Qué direcciones?
Es 847, calle Cuarta, aquí en Calexico.
Está bien, gracias.
Muchísimas gracias a ustedes por estar atención.
Thank you so much. Well, yes,
Mr. Hodge,
Councilman
remember
Kim.
we had the agenda, that discount for the seniors?
I know.
We didn't go follow through that neither.
Okay. That's a serious situation. We, interim city manager, whoever's in that position, whether you stay or not, we need to, Nick Servine, we need to address that right away, okay? So please, you have his phone number. Please have a meeting. We should not, I mean, I know rules are rules, but what he says, people that are barely making it on Social Security, it's really unrealistic to think that they can pay fines like that. In all fairness, sir, I don't know all the details, but it sounds like a heavy burden that has been put on them in an unnecessary manner. All right. You will call him? Okay, thank you, Mr. Servine. And City Manager, you will follow up or work with that, please. And thank you, Councilman Castro.
Mr. Mayor, we will follow up, but there's also Proposition 218 we'll have to look at, which determines what the water fees should be. So
Okay.
in conjunction with that, we'll work
218?
with the gentleman and see what we can do.
Okay. Yeah, he was even gracious enough to say he'd pay a fine, but I think we need to make it realistic and reasonable and capable. But maybe look at it, and maybe he doesn't need to pay the fine. We don't want to. We don't want to perpetuate injustices in our city.
Yeah, we'll try to see if we can, what we can do.
All right, thank you. All right, very good. Next, Carla Flores. Carla, please come forward.
Good afternoon, members of the council, mayor. My name is Carla Flores, 602 Emilia, and one of the reasons why I'm here is in regards to item number 6. I'm sure you know everybody's aware of what's going on. Did you guys understand what Maribel read to you? And I'm talking to Mr. Castro, Mr. Hodge, and Mr. Kim. This is something really serious that's going on, and us as citizens, we're not going to accept these types of new contracts that you guys want to bring into effect. By the end of June, coming in July the 1st, we're going to be on a negative of 1 point something, correct? We're still going to end up paying Oscar Rodriguez till the end of the year. Plus, we're going to end up paying almost $100,000 for 6 months for an interim. What part of this picture don't you understand? If we have no money, if there's no money on our budget coming July the 1st, you guys are probably going to pull this out of our general fund, which we only have $2 million. One is already down the line. What I see here is that 3 council members are doing business. You are not working as team members. You got to remember that there's 5 members up here that the citizens voted. And you guys all have to work together, regardless of your differences, regardless if you don't like each other. But when it comes to decisions like these, you need to make a smart decision, not for you, not for your compa or whatever. You need to make a good decision for the citizens of Calexico. We need streets to be fixed. We need parks. Everybody's complaining about streets, parks, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then why are we spending the money in different places? Do we really need an interim? Do we? That's one of the questions. Do we really need one? And us as the citizens of Calexico, we want to raise our voice and we want to oppose this contract. I know that at the end of the story, at the end of the day, it's going to be your decision. It's going to be whatever you 3 council members want. But please, just take into consideration and don't just make a decision that it's going to affect us in the long run. You are council members. but you're up there representing all of us here. Not only one or two, no, it's all of us. So whatever decision you make, it's going to affect the whole entire city of Calexico. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Flores. Thank you. Okay, that's for item 6. All right, that concludes the public, I believe, the public announcements. Okay. All right, then, let's move on to general comments by council members, and then, of course, our interim city manager. I'll start to the far left. Councilman Castro, any general comments?
Yes, just one concern. I would like to welcome Mr. Endo Tecara for interim city manager. That's it. Thank you.
Excuse me. Councilwoman Hurtado, would you like to make a comment, please?
Yes, I'd like to, first of all, congratulate my daughter for graduating with Vincent Memorial this past week.
Congratulations.
Year 2014. And, of course, the upcoming Calexico Bulldogs graduation. Good luck to everyone. I'd also like to congratulate the different candidates that were in yesterday's election. Sheriff Loera, thank you that he is now going to be on for another 4 years. And Mr. Renison and Mr. Romero, good luck to you in your upcoming runoff. I believe those were the two best candidates, and may the best man win. With regard to today's items, as I mentioned to you earlier, I am protesting this agenda item, number 6, in that, as you know, I also protested the agenda item in closed session the several times that we've been back there. And I believe that what Ms. Flores is indicating is probably the most important thing here with regard to all of this madness that's happening here in the city of Calexico at this point, which is the lack of dialogue. The lack of dialogue, the lack of any correspondence, any actual communications from the 3 members that are making these decisions at this time. I just want to make sure that you know that at the moment that we went into closed session last time, I was in the dark as far as who this applicant was, and there was no sharing whatsoever from Mayor Hodge towards myself, and I believe Mr. Moreno as well had no idea who this applicant was. That's very serious in that I believe that we all understand that democracy means that we all have an opportunity to represent. And when you come to a meeting and you have no idea what it is that's going to be happening, that's not representation. I believe that in this case, the opportunity to represent our community is being limited with the certain actions that have been occurring in closed session. Closed session is a place to discuss issues, to hire and fire. However, it also will not be effective when those participating are violating the Brown Act. And the Brown Act has been violated, as you can all see from the results. What you see out here is not what's happening in there. And I have been very vocal with regard to my concerns, and I will continue to be vocal. I don't appreciate working in a situation with a council that has no respect for the value of the other members. I do not appreciate a mayor who feels that his power is much more than it really is. All members here at this dais have equal rights and equal representation value. Therefore, if you come to a meeting and decisions are already being made, obviously, on the outset of that meeting, then that value is not being respected. I wish that we all have better dialogue to be able to move on from here on in. And to you, Mr. Casillas, you indicated that you had tried having dialogue with me. No, you did not. And I think that that's what is probably the hardest thing here, is to understand that when you're going to have dialogue, have it. Don't just say you're going to have it, but have it. You know where to find me. You know where my office is. I don't appreciate you taking me to bars or anything like that to discuss any city business, because I'm available anytime you like. So for the situation to be where people come to this dais and indicate that we're not trying here, I'm sorry, you're wrong. We're trying really hard. However, we need the dialogue, and that dialogue and the respect towards each other comes from you, Mr. Hodge. You, as the mayor, because you said you were going to mend us. So I urge you to start mending.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Hurtado. Okay, Councilman Kim.
So first of all, thank you for the community supporting me through the election. And I found the community needs to more time to be change it, and they need to be more action taken. The change doesn't come with just some one or two politicians. A community member has to be stand up to exercising their vote, that change comes through. And the other one is the welcome Mr. Takata. And well, we still have some issues going on. And whatever comes with the negotiating or whatever comes with the discussion, I am very cautiously to looking into the benefit of the community. And we're not overspending or we are not double spending, and sometimes we need to pay some of the left employees by the contract. And I do my best for the community service and the community's benefit. And so today I have a funny comment. If 3 council members agrees it, they become breaking the brown eggs. It's a funny word. So last year and a half, 3 council members, Mr. Moreno, Ms. Hurtado, Mr. Hachi has 3. So they broke the brown eggs. So every time they have 3 votes, that means it broke the brown eggs.
Shh, audience, please.
I think it's something has to look into it. And also, I wasn't happy to. I was blacked out to making decision the last time, and we had some issues going on today. And I do closely to serve the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman Kim. Honorable Mayor Pro Tem John Moreno, please.
Thank you, Mayor Hodge. Just want to wish everyone a safe graduation, who's ever graduating next week. It tends to be pretty hectic as we wind down the school year and summer starts. Hopefully we'll get working on that swimming pool now that the weather is very hot. I hope our city staff can really start moving that forward. Mr. Takata sitting in our city manager's chair. I'd like to extend a cordial welcome at this time. However, I still feel strongly that the process by which this was an abrupt change, I am not in agreement with. I would still like to have seen a member of our staff promoted, and then the search for a city manager ensue, so that in 30 to 60 days, we'd probably have a permanent city manager. That is my position. In the meantime, in the interim, I don't mind working with Mr. Takata or the rest of the council, but I would rather be upfront and let you know what I'm thinking. So hopefully we can continue to try to work together to solve a lot of the issues mentioned by Ms. Flores, the streets, the parks, etc. We've got a lot of things on our plate. I know our department heads have many things on their plate. So we just need to move forward. We need to move forward and try to save our city from bad things that could possibly happen. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem. 3 minutes for me. Allegations about breaking the Brown Act, I don't know specifically what they are, and at this point they're allegations, but you have a right to entertain them. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one that met Mr. Takata and welcome, and through our conversations, I believed in him. Yes, he's asking for more, but I think that what he's going to do, cut waste, raise the quality of customer service in other areas. And look, ladies and gentlemen, we already have a problem that was hidden from us, or it appeared to be, and that was with the, in public works with a air pollution fine of $3.2 million. I'm sure that Mr. Savine has tried his best to correct that, but it's out there. So if Servine and the Gata get together and he saves us $3.2 million, he's already been worth it, like tenfold. And I think it's urgent that we work on that problem. So I believe in him. I think he's going to, in the long run, save us and increase revenue. And it was I, in closed session, only I, that introduced his resume. None of the members knew. I thought there was nothing wrong to do that. And we didn't have to agree at that point. But for what I wanted, I was fortunate to get the votes. But again, it's not over. We're still going to do a little bit of ironing out. But welcome, Mr. Takata. I believe in you, and I believe that the objectives that you have already pointed out are refreshing in the sense that they haven't been talked about or looked at. In spite of what a very, very good city manager Oscar Rodriguez was. But people have different perspectives or different goals, and I like what you want to do. And you brought something out that I have been concerned about. I know Councilman Castro has been too, and that's the work ethic, the culture of work in our city, and the morale among our city employees. Whether it's you, sir, or anybody else, I'll say right now on record, I will not allow our employees to be overburdened even more. So I stress that as we move forward, that we should do things to lessen their burden and make them more efficient as employees in Calexico government. But that is my position, and so be it. All right. Now we have Interim City Manager, Mr. Takata. It's your turn for any comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council and audience. I know this is a difficult time for you when you have a long-time manager leave, and it's very difficult for the employees. They feel very anxious to see what's going to happen. Just so you know, I'm not anybody's puppet. And you may think I am, but I'm not. And the opportunity that people will have to know me, will understand where I come from. I come from a very ethical background. You can read all you want from the bloggers, and I can read all I want bloggers about you, or what your neighbor says about you, but it doesn't make it true. So I'm here to help. People have questions and they'd like to talk to me. I'm more than happy to address those. I'm trying to help the council and the community get over this time. And it's important for you to know that my door's open if you need to talk to me. I am there. I'll listen to your problems, but I'm also going to tell you what I can and can't do for you. And one of the things that's happened with as you talk about the council fighting, is that's not good for economic development. And this city needs some good economic development. So we're going to try to work together to try to get us going forward. So that's my promise to you in this short period of time. And I hope that I can show you that I am worth every penny that you pay me. So thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Takata. Okay, that ends general comments by council and interim city manager. Now we move on to the consent agenda. We have 4 items. Is there a motion to approve all 4 items?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I have pull out the number 4.
Okay, a second, but pull out number 4 to be discussed.
Okay, I'll rescind and go 1, 2, 3 for approval.
Approval, 1, 2, 3. Is there a second for 1, 2, 3? Would you second that,
Yes.
Councilman Castro? All right then. We've made a change here. We're pulling out 4, and we are now approving consent agenda items 1, 2, and 3. Will you please vote? All right, items 1, 2, 3 on the consent agenda item passes unanimously. All right, Councilman Kim, you pulled number 4. It's approval of a resolution of City Council of the City of Calexico to rescind resolution number 2013-28 and authorize the city manager or his designee to advise the Imperial Valley Telecommunications Authority of its design to remain as a member in good standing with no change in the agreement between the parties. Sir, your comments or questions?
So first of all, questions. Where is this 10-point page first? One is number 4, backup documents.
Number 4, page 4, sir?
It's page first.
Oh, okay.
About almost on the end of it, they said the funding for the IVTA is based on $5,000 annual fee. And they always have a little bounce, the demarcation, the point, where is the 10 demarcation points?
Well, I'll ask John Quinn to answer that question, but just so you know, this is, the communication aspect is that we currently only use 4 of those right now.
Should be only 4.
We only use 4 of those, but he's going to explain where we're at and how we've gotten there.
Very
if you
good.
don't mind.
Welcome, Mr. Quinn.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Councilman Kim, there are, when this organization was set up many years ago, the city opted to take on 10 positions. Demarcation point is a locking point where you have software and hardware together to fill out a network and lines, fiber optic lines to the network. In the city's case, they said they were going to take 10, and as it turns out, only 4 have been used or are in place.
Can you tell us where?
And the 4 are in the police department, fire department, city hall, and the library. And the rest are not used. And the reason we have this this resolution before you is that in the agreement with IVTA, a member agency must, if they choose to amend or opt out or even opt in, there's a waiting period of 1 year. And if you recall last June, I know everybody remembers last June vividly, last June we submitted the resolution 2013-28, and that was in the anticipation that we were going to opt out at that time. We found after discussions with IVTA and with others that this would have become a considerable hardship on them because we are one of the biggest payers and one of the biggest contributing members in the organization. So cooler heads have prevailed over the year, and we've decided to stay in the organization, and we need a resolution to get rid of that 2013-28 decision. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're hoping you'll pass this so I can go to the board tomorrow and advise them accordingly.
So we're using only 4, which is we should pay $20,000, and we're paying the $50,000.
There, Councilman Kim, there's a credit that's been building up, and you're absolutely right. The city does pay. We pay $5,000 per demarcation point. Very expensive. We have not had anyone before or since I've been here who has wanted to go ahead and extend those demarcation points. And it's only been recently that I know of that the IVTA has entertained swapping, if you will, or selling or trading somehow the demarcation points from one member to another, so that if somebody's really expanding rapidly, they could conceivably buy or take over some available demarcation points. That's a new development, and I'm not aware of all the details on that, but apparently that wasn't available when the city did start, and there have been other changes, so we are paying still a very high price, but working with IVTA, we believe that if this is going to go forward, we will be able to catch on to some of their projects and work hand in hand with them to move forward and make this a more cost-effective membership.
Okay, so there's no way to change our contract yet.
No way.
So we have to pay $50,000 this
But-
time.
That's true, but it says here in the background, back up, the City of Calexico and the IBTA agree they could jointly explore ways to cut cost and also participate in projects that will allow city. So that's very realistic. Is that not true, Mr. Quinn?
Yes.
Okay, they're very willing to work with us.
So you're mentioning if some entity from the city, they want to use one of the demarcation point, we can sell to them.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Some entity that came to use one of the demarcation point from the city, that we can sell to them to $5,000 or $6,000, whatever.
That's a possibility. That's
Okay.
one option, is to share or trade.
But in case of that, who's going to pay for all the constructions? I think cable they have to bring it.
I really don't know all of the ins and outs of how that gets done, but we would be, if we trade or sell, or however it's done, one or more demarcation points, our costs will be reduced and the other agency would somehow pick it up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, very good. Any other concerns or comments among council? All right, then. I believe we can vote on this item. Is there a motion now for item number 4 on the consent agenda item?
I'll move.
Okay, motioned by Mayor Pro Tem. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Castro. So please vote on item number 4 from the consent agenda item. There you are, Mr. Quinn. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, moving on to item number 5. Council action to designate voting delegate and alternates to the League of California Cities Annual Conference, September 3rd to the 5th, 2014 in Los Angeles, California. So, action by City Council, this is required. The city's voting delegate and up to 2 alternates must be designated by the City Council. And,
I have some question on this.
yes, go ahead, sir.
Shouldn't be for the mayor and mayor pro tem?
I believe that would be typical, or is that correct?
That's typical in most cities, that usually the mayor and the mayor pro
Okay,
tem
well,
would act as
I'm
the
not
alternate.
against that, even though we'll stay
I'd
late
like
on
a motion
Friday.
to approve with the mayor and the mayor pro tem, so it's mayor pro
All
tem is
right.
alternative.
So the mayor as the delegate and the alternate
Alternate
is
is
Mayor
the
Pro Tem,
Mayor Pro Tem.
Honorable John Moreno. Is that correct?
Provided, I believe you have a changing of the seats.
That's true.
In July, so it
That's true.
depends on those people are available.
That's
So we
true.
may have
So
to.
it should be the mayor, whoever.
Mayor
Right,
and the
mayor and
mayor
the
pro
mayor
tem.
Okay, that's true. Okay, all right then, so
I
the
make
mayor.
motion.
All right then.
I made the motion to mayor to be the delegate, mayor
And
pro tem to be
to be
alternate.
the alternate. Okay, that's a motion. Is there a second?
I'm second that.
Second, Councilman Castro. Please vote. All right, that passes unanimously. Thank you, council, for being judicious and expeditious. Thank you. What do I look to you for? You're in sports. Okay. Item number 7. Are we going to take this on right now? No, this is 6. I'm sorry.
6,
City
we're gonna-
attorney, we're going to defer this after a closed session. So we're going to move to item 7. Is that correct?
Yes, Mayor.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to get everybody riled up. Okay, this is just an acknowledgement or acknowledge receipt of Business Improvement District bid minutes, and thank you for the minutes for the regular meeting of April 9th, 2014, and special meeting of April 16th, 2014. Do we acknowledge? I acknowledge. Hello? Do we
Yes,
acknowledge?
acknowledge.
Okay, we acknowledge. We move on to item number 8. This is, I guess, to acknowledge also library board minutes for March 26, 2014. We read the minutes. Do we acknowledge? Yes, we acknowledge. Thank you, John. Okay, and should we now go in closed session and then we come back and we do item number 6 and then future agenda
items.
Or do we do future agenda items now?
Future agenda items, then we'll reconvene in closed
Okay,
session.
then we'll reconvene. Okay, thank you for your guidance. All right, so council members, future agenda items. Councilwoman Hurtado.
I'd like clarification with regard to the PAL program that just was presenting today. I understand that they do not have status with the PAL, the state PAL, and I'd like to have that clarification because that clarification has been requested already for the last 6 months, and there hasn't been any clarification to that, and I can see that there's quite a bit of monies going back and forth. I want to make sure that the Calexico PAL, Police Athletics League in the city of Calexico, is legally operating under the Calexico PAL plus all state of California authority. I think that's the only one, actually, because I think we still have somewhere.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Hurtado. Councilman Kim?
Yes, I believe we have this month, was called the, I believe it was called the LAFCO. They can have a meeting, I believe Thursday, Wednesday, I believe they have a meeting. So we should have put in the agenda next meeting to discuss on of the.
That was an interesting sneeze, thank you. Okay, so you would like for the next agenda item?
Yes,
I'll support that.
Yes.
An update on what took place at LAFCO?
Yes, because before the LAFCO meeting, we supposed to have some kind of agreement on those things. Because this is the last LAFCO meeting before the June 30th is the deadline.
Okay.
I believe there's some information that's come to light. The Border Patrol has pulled their application from LAFCO because they had a certain timeline to act. They weren't prepared, and therefore they did pull that item.
So they pulled out?
Well, they have to by law.
So yeah, they pulled
They can reapply. They can reapply.
Oh, but they pulled out. I understood they pulled out tabled for the June meeting. That's what they told me.
Well, the application was sent, an acknowledgement was sent from LAFCO to me indicating that the application was actually withdrawn.
Okay, but anyways, we need to discuss for in case we put an agenda.
I'm sorry,
We
Councilman
need to
Kim.
put on the agenda, discuss.
Okay.
Anyways, even they pulled out the item, I like to discuss and take the action.
All right. All right, I support that, so we'll put
Okay.
that on the next agenda item. But, Nick Servine, does that mean, in a sense, if it's pulled, that the city will not be involved?
Not necessarily, as a
Not
matter of
necessarily?
Right. We've actually spoken with them, and they are willing to meet our conditions, and they're trying to arrange a meeting with Mr. Takata and myself.
Oh, very good.
So we're
That's hopeful.
working on that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Servine.
And the other one is, the other item is, I was requested last time about California Street, the zone changing. We need to discuss about that. I was requested, but I believe we have issues about the city manager. We didn't have it, so I'd like to have the next meeting agenda.
Okay, I'm sorry again.
Zone changing?
Yeah,
Zone
California
changing.
Street, the zone changing.
Okay.
We need to discuss and to see, find out what's going on.
All right, Nick, comment?
Again, yeah, I'll add a little bit to this. We had a workshop where we discussed the intent to rezone the area to try to accommodate as many of the residents and businesses that we could. And so we wanted to get public input. We did get public input. Therefore, we're looking at doing another workshop so we can get more accurate assessment, have the consultant there, our planner, to be there to answer all legal issues related to the planning process.
But I've been seeing the advertisement, the zone changing notice, not the hearing, not the workshop. That's different stories.
Well,
But we see City of Calexico been announced it as a zone changing hearing, not as workshops.
Well, the first one was a workshop. We're heading toward rezone. That is a fact. But the first meeting we had was a
Okay, so
workshop.
right now, so we don't have an agenda, we cannot discuss much. I'd like to put in the agenda, discuss on those issues.
Okay, might be a bit premature.
Okay, but give us what you can.
Shouldn't it go to the planning commission first?
That's the intent.
Councilman Kim, do you respect what he's saying?
No, I'm, okay, I'm not, I want to know exactly the discussion from the council, because without agenda, we cannot discuss much. So I'd like to put in the agenda, we can discuss what is going on.
I think we should.
Yes, I'm not saying, we're not saying the final decision, we are not finding out what's going on.
You just want a discussion amongst us.
But we're jumping the gun with the planning commission, and if you'd like to, I would suggest.
Because that one would be for the planning commission, they had a hearing notice.
Okay, guys, take it easy, take it easy. All right. All right,
I would suggest that maybe you have a joint workshop with the planning commission, and you can go over and have a discussion with the planning commissions, because they have not had their hearing yet. So they're going to need to have their hearing, and after the hearing, then it'll come up for you for a public hearing.
well,
But
and then
perhaps
we can
do a
get that
joint-
information,
A
right?
joint workshop, which you can give input to the.
You mean
planning
city
commission.
council with planning
Right,
commission?
correct.
That's a good idea. Kim, do you like that?
Or attend the planning commission
Yeah,
meeting.
okay.
A member of the audience.
But it's kind of the same. It's a workshop, John, that's okay.
All right.
All right? So that way, we'll do the joint workshop, and then we can find out, sir?
I still want to do an agenda to discuss.
All right, I'll direct that to City Manager Takata. Okay,
I mentioned earlier progress on the pool, if there is any, maybe a timeline. And speaking of timelines, could you resend that inventory? I haven't gotten it.
yeah, I haven't either. I know you're busy.
Yeah, print one out, that's good.
We'll
Thank
get,
You mean,
if I may, we'll get you an update on the pool, but I know that the current bonds are being floated right now, and they're supposed to close this week.
All right,
okay,
thank you.
thank you. I do not have any future agenda items. We have enough to contend with. Okay, did I respect everybody? Everybody gave? All right, then, we're going to end the public.
Yes, Mayor.
No, say it the legal way,
The
sir.
public meeting remains open. We'll reconvene into closed session to address items B and C and reconvene on business item 6 only.
Okay.
You have general comments by the public first, before you go in?
Pardon me?
You don't have general comments by the public first before you go in? You don't hear us out first?
No, we don't.
You hear us later?
That's correct.
All right. Okay, then, we're going to reconvene into closed session, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you got it. Are reconvening for a public session, and I will defer to our city attorney, correct?
Thank you, Mayor. The council met in closed session on items B and C. Direction was given, there is no reportable action. Moving to business item 6, through closed session, the council was unable to reach an agreement with the interim city manager. There is no business to conduct. Under number 6, Mayor, I will turn the meeting over to you for adjournment.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is adjourned.